Breaking news from the NFL. Social media has been a buzz the last day or so with rumors that Davante Adams might want out of Vegas. NFL Network is reporting that he would prefer to be traded at this point. He was the subject to trade rumors over the summer, but Vegas rejected every offer for their star wide receiver. This news coming after head coach Antonio Pierce liked an Instagram post wondering if Adams had played his last down for the Raiders. Let's bring in our lead NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. JJ, it does not seem like these parties are on the same path here. What can you tell us about what's going on?
So I can tell you that last week when teams were inquiring with the Las Vegas Raiders about whether they'd be interested in dealing Davante Adams, they were told that they had no interest anytime soon, is what several sources told me. Their communication with the Las Vegas Raiders was last week. And then he had a hamstring injury that was described as week to week. Obviously missed this past game. And then I heard maybe, 4 or 5 hours ago that Tom Telesco had made some calls around the league. And I know there's one report that referred to it as gauging interest in a potential Davante Adams trade. It certainly signaled that there was a willingness for the Raiders to open up discussions about it, because they had told teams in pretty in certain language, no, we're not dealing Davante Adams. So obviously some things over the past couple of days have changed. Yes, there's the injury. Yes, there was that strange liking of the Instagram post, and then Davante Adams going on television and saying that he had not spoken to Antonio Pierce since then. And so now you have this, the reported, it's interesting wording, but reported trade request, it appears. So I don't know that anything is going to happen anytime soon because, Chris, and I think that we're about to get into it, all of the hurdles that it will take for a trade to ever eventually get done by the deadline. But as we stand here right now, we are just within 5 weeks of the trade deadline. So, again, doesn't have to happen right now. Doesn't look like Davante Adams is close to playing sometime soon for the Raiders. Probably because of injury, but also because of the drama surrounding him. So,
JJ, what are the biggest hurdles that these sides have to get over for JJ or for Davante Adams to be traded, and who might be some realistic partners in these trade talks?
So I'll take the first question first because then it leads into the answer for the second question, Chris. The hurdles are going to be age, contract, and draft pick compensation. All right, he's 32 years old. He still has a couple more years left on his deal, but it's non-guaranteed money in 2025 and 2026. So for all intents and purposes, this is the final year of his contract. If he were going to stay with the Las Vegas Raiders, if he were to go somewhere else, he would not be playing on this contract in 2025. Okay, so if you are to trade for Davante Adams, you would be doing so either as a one-year rental, and really it's 11 or so games plus the playoffs, and then you would either cut him or hope that you would be able to rework his deal in the offseason, or you would talk with Davante Adams and his representation after getting permission from the Las Vegas Raiders to rework his contract. Under these two circumstances will determine the draft pick compensation. If the Raiders want something like a second-round draft pick for Davante Adams, I don't know that they're going to be able to get that from other teams. Again, considering his age, considering the contract situation. Would a third-round pick and something else get the job done? I think that's probably reasonable based off the conversations that I've had with folks from around the league today. And so those are the obstacles with getting a deal done. And because of that, you're not going to get a deal done by the time we're done with this segment, okay? Now, where could he potentially go? You have teams that are going to have to be able to absorb his cap hit in 2024 if they don't rework his deal. So it's going to be hard for teams that are up against the cap. Not impossible, but hard. So you look at a Buffalo Bills. Does Davante Adams really want to go to a Buffalo? I'm not sure, and sources I talked to are not entirely sure. The New England Patriots, who were in on Brandon Ayuk, well, this is a rebuild year for them. I will just note that some guys who were in Green Bay when Davante Adams came into the NFL, Elliott Wolf and Alonzo Highsmith, they now run the personnel department with the New England Patriots. But I don't think that they are necessarily going to be a spot for him. And then, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs. They have a greater demand than any other team in the NFL, but they are an AFC West rival. This trade is not going to happen. Two places that I could see, one is very obvious, and it's Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers know one another very well. The Jets have been very interested in Davante Adams for some time. But also using that exact same logic, guys who have thrown passes to Davante Adams, well, Derek Carr has. And Derek Carr's with the New Orleans Saints. And when you have the Saints, I just talked about the cap. The Saints have figured out the cap before. Do they have a need? Sure. They have Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, but they also may be paying Olave next year, maybe not. The contract's going to be really interesting there. So those are two places that I would generally keep an eye on right now, are guys who have played with Davante Adams, because at his age, with his tenure, he's going to want to go somewhere that is familiar. And so just using that logic, those are two places just starting out. But again, we are very early in this.
Yep, still 5 weeks or so until the trade deadline, so plenty of time to get a deal done, but plenty of hoops to jump through to get there. Our Jonathan Jones saying the Jets and Saints could be some landing spots if a deal gets done for Davante Adams, who is in his age 32 season. You can watch JJ on the NFL Today Sundays at noon, leading into the early kicks on CBS.